Welcome back to Afternoon Live. Do you want to raise strong kids ready to take on the world? Our next guests say, get them outside. Here with more, we welcome the authors of Digging into Nature, Outdoor Adventures for Happier and Healthier Kids, pediatricians Dr. Pooja Tandon and Dr. Danette Glassy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Tell me about what inspired you to go down this avenue of research in the first place.
Well, I think for me, in practice, over the years, I've just seen more and more families have a hard time finding the time or the energy or the access to getting outside. And it really came to a head when I had a kindergartner come in for her well visit. I always ask, what do you like to do outside? And oh, this girl, she just rolled her eyes and said, Dr. Glassy, I'm not an outdoor girl. And I thought, how sad, already at age 6. So I really had to find out more about, how do we engage families? How can we help families with this? And what is it that we know about getting kids out in nature?
Right, because there's scientific stuff to back this up, right? The benefits of getting kids outside.
That's right, yeah. So part of my job is being a researcher. So I'm a pediatrician and I do some of this research and had been digging into that literature and looking at the range of health benefits and was really, what I found in the science backed up my experience as a mom and as a pediatrician.
And are people surprised to hear about just that word access and thinking about it's not so easy for every family in every circumstance to get outside as much as we really should to access the full benefits?
Well, I think sometimes people self-limit too. They think, oh, outdoors, does that mean I have to plan a big camping trip and I'm afraid of bugs? And that just doesn't sound good. But what the research that Pooja's team has shown is that nearby nature is just as important for kids, and just getting outside and moving and experiencing that from birth to grandma is good for all of us.
Yeah, and it's good for your physical health and your mental health, and both of those are so critical right now, and even for buffering some of the impact of the extreme heat and climate effects.
Are there different benefits that you see in different age groups? I think developmentally we think about the little ones, but as kids mature and grow in age, I mean, we can all benefit from some fresh air, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and from before the time we're born to the little babies, for teenagers, the ability to bring in those skills of being resilient and your motor skills, your language skills, and really even for the parents and grandparents and other caregivers of children.
Yeah, I mean, just eliminating some screen time during the day, is that it's a benefit getting away from the screens, but that also seems like a huge hurdle. How am I going to get these kids off their devices that they love so much?
Yes, we definitely have to talk to families and help them, empower them to limit some screen time. But we're kind of talking about maybe have green time instead of screen time, or earn your screen time with some green time.
Yeah.
And bring in your friends and family to help with that as well. Using your schools to help with some green time as well.
The whole village can be part of the process. And in the winter months too, I mean, the weather is finally starting to turn, we can still get outside.
We can, and we like to think about, that saying that there's no such thing as bad weather, just you got to have the right clothing choices and the gear, and often the kids are okay. They don't mind being outside if it's a little wet and cold, and the way our weather is around here, and it's sometimes convincing the adults that they'll be okay too.
It's true. I'm thinking about getting all those layers on the little toddlers and socks and boots and where'd that glove go and all those things.
And how quickly they outgrew it. You just bought them last week and now these boots don't fit. Yeah.
What about families who maybe have some healthcare challenges, kiddos who have some special needs? Do you have recommendations for them to make it easier to get outside?
Yeah, it's part of the reason we wrote the book. There's lots of nature books for families out and lots of support groups, but there always was missing some information for the youngest kids, the children with special health care needs. So we go into some details. As pediatricians, we've really seen this with our practice. Maybe children who have heart conditions or physical limitations and disabilities, and bringing a lot of really smart people together in groups and giving real practical advice to everybody. 27% of kids have some health limitation.
And we think almost everybody with, and sometimes it's the adults in the family that have limitations, physical limitations or healthcare needs, but almost everyone can benefit from nature in some way.
Are there ways that we can all be supportive too as parents or caregivers, or even just as community members? Maybe we're not raising kids, but we want to contribute to a better society.
I'm so glad you asked that, because really, you know, your kids are spending all day at childcare or school, and wouldn't that be a great way to access some nature? So helping the community come together to support the schools to make a more green schoolyard, and certainly community groups that help families that don't have access to get to the park, your transit systems that can take you from home to the trailhead.
And we talk about this idea of nature allies and nature mentors, that really if you're someone that is willing to be that ally that goes out with others, organizes the outdoor play dates, gets sports teams into nature, and being a mentor, if you know how to do this or have the gear, share it and bring someone else along.
It can be really life-changing too. Thank you both so much. It was lovely chatting with you.
You bet, and thanks for having us.
Of course.
Thank
The
you.
book again is Digging into Nature. We'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.